Hi guys, recently I've been really inspired by some new ideas that I kind of learned over time. So I thought that instead of posting a bunch of small videos on each topic, that I would create this video where I'm going to share with you 3 tips that hopefully you can use with your bird right away. Alright, so welcome back guys to the aviary, and just some updates. I don't know if you guys saw my last video, but I recently put up this corrugated roofing. That's just prepared just in case it rains, so that the rain can't get inside and kind of damage some of the things that I have inside the aviary. And the good news is, this maidenhair fern, it's still thriving, and just whenever it grows out kind of heavily, all I do is I put it closer to the aviary and Smokey just kind of, she prunes it herself. And that fiddle leaf fig, it's still doing really well. So everything inside the aviary, it's in the last video I was kind of concerned about whether or not that would survive, but it's surviving and it's actually quite thriving. But anyways, what I want to talk to you guys about first, the first tip I'd give you is, now that it's winter, a lot of people often wonder, like, what's the coldest temperature that my bird can withstand? And the way that I'll answer that is, I'll say this. When it comes to cold, birds can tolerate the cold pretty well. But the key to making sure that your bird actually can withstand colder temperatures is acclimation. And what acclimation means is that if your bird is always inside with you, and the temperature's in the high 70s to 80s, and one night you decide to take your bird outside and leave them in 50-degree weather, your bird probably won't be able to make the night. So acclimation means that you gradually introduce your bird to the cold. Very gradually, very slowly. The best time to do that would be towards the end of summer, transitioning into fall. Anyways, with acclimation to the cold, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your birds slowly adjust so that they can build up enough down feather to withstand the cold. With that being said though, there's 2 things you guys need to know that's very important. One is that even though your bird can tolerate the cold, they cannot tolerate draft. So keep them away from any drafts or anywhere where there's a cold breeze going through. The second is this. Even though your bird can tolerate, I would say Smokey can do pretty well in 60 to even the 50s. But I would not take my bird and have them anywhere that's under 50. Alright guys, so the second tip that I'm going to give you is going to be really helpful, especially if you guys have Amazons, cockatoos, macaws, or even conures. And one of the biggest complaints that people have about parrots, the biggest problem actually, besides biting of course, is that the bird screams incessantly. And now the thing is, most birds scream a lot early in the morning when the sun first rises, and also they scream a lot later on at night when the sun sets. And first of all, you guys gotta understand that that's normal, that's natural, because in the wild, Smokey, come here. Those are the times when they are kind of like gathering in their flocks, and they're just making sure that, you know, it's kind of like a roll call, that they're making sure that all of their flock members are present before they head out to forage. So the thing is, what I would really recommend is, if you know that your bird is going to scream at a certain time of the day, maybe it's at 9 a.m., maybe it's again at 5 p.m., then what I would do is I would try to introduce my bird to foraging toys. If you guys watch my videos, you know how big I am on foraging, and I have a lot of videos on that. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to kind of just share with you guys one new tip. Last week, I shared with you this new foraging toy that I got. And let me take this out and show you how it works. Pretty much, this thing can be attached and reattached to your bird's cage, or if you have an aviary like mine, it can be attached and reattached really easily. What I always struggled with is, it's easy for Smokey to, it's easy to get her to forage for treats, like seeds or nuts. But I always had a difficult time trying to get her to forage for her pellets. So what I found was really useful was, this toy does a really good job at that. Pretty much, you take this part off. Let me see if I can do that here. And then you just fill the insides in with pellets. Now the problem with me though is that when I started doing that, Smokey got the pellets out really quickly, really easily. So I found a little trick that actually makes this even harder for your bird to forage, which is a good thing because you want them to be really occupied with this toy. I'm going to show you right now. Yeah, let's step outside. Alright, so all I did was I went to Michael's and I bought these round wooden pieces. bought a bag of really small ones and a bag of larger ones. Now what you got to make sure though is you got to make sure that the larger ones actually can fit through the foraging toy. And I'll see if I can find the link to the foraging toy and where I got it from, and I'll post that in the description box. But pretty much what I did was I filled the insides up with these round wooden pieces, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take her pellets and I'm going to pour it inside. Oops. So now that that's filled up, I'm going to shake it. Reinsert this tube. And the cool thing is you can actually control how long this tube goes, either up or down. So I'm going to try to make it just like that. And pretty much when you put the wooden pieces in, and Smokey, for example, spins it, sometimes it kind of controls the amount of pellets that falls down so that not too much falls at one time. And if she spins again, more pellets go down. But what I like about it is that it takes her a lot of time and a lot of work to try to get the pellets. So that keeps her really busy, but that actually also teaches her that food is very valuable, and that also is really helpful when you're trying to train your bird. So let's go back inside. Hey, Smokes. And let's see if she's going to work on this right away for us. Let me see if that's secured. All right. Alright, so Smokey's actually really cooperative with us today. And hopefully you can see in this video, hopefully she can demonstrate how the foraging toy works. And I'm using these natural untreated pieces of wood, just in case she actually ingest it, it's not going to be dangerous or hazardous for her. So guys, I'm actually really proud of this idea. Before, it was really easy for her to get the pellets down, so she finishes it pretty fast. But now that I put the new round wooden pieces in, it takes her a lot more time now. You gotta spin it, Smokey, spin it. You want to scratch? Alright. Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you guys one last tip. And it has to do with territorial aggression. I know I did a whole video on this before, but this next thing is something that I recently kind of learned just through experience. And that is, whenever Smokey is on my bed, she gets extremely territorial. And she would attack anybody that just even sits on my bed. So what I've started doing is I don't allow her on my bed any longer, and she still hangs out in my room, but I'd never let her on my bed, because whenever she's on there, I noticed that she would always do this little digging thing with her claws. And those of you who have African Greys, you can probably understand what I'm talking about. And at first, at the very beginning, I didn't really think that that was anything much. I thought that maybe it was a way that in the wild that they look for food. But I'm starting to think that that's associated with mating. So I no longer allow her to do that. And what I found is that she's become a lot better when she's inside my room. So if you guys do have an African Grey and they get really territorial around like a certain place, especially with your significant other, then that's something that I would recommend. See if there's a certain place where they start digging. Is it at that place that they usually get the aggression? And if it is, then I would recommend that whenever they start exhibiting that behavior, stop them and interrupt them, then give them something else to do besides that. Give me a kiss. Alright, and that is it. Well, hopefully you guys found something useful in this video that you can use with your bird right away. But if you guys enjoyed the video, or if it helped you, make sure you guys click the like button below, and also if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel. And happy holidays, and I'll see you guys next time.